Today our reading plan is packed. We are in John chapter 2, 3, and 4. And there was so much, oh my goodness. But I'm going to focus on the first miracle, the water into wine. So it's really hard to get the scriptures in order chronologically. So this actually would have happened before some of what we read in the other gospels, but for the sake of not just chopping it up and dissecting it, here we are in John chapter 2, 3, and 4. And John chapter 2 starts out with this miracle, the first miracle of turning the water into wine. The first thing that I noticed today is it says on the third day. There's nothing about this story, this miracle, that is accident. Everything is pointing to something. Third day, what does that make you think of? Resurrection, right? On the third day. Like nothing was by chance. No detail was left unturned. Nothing is wasted in the kingdom. So on the third day, there was a wedding, and Jesus and his mother and the disciples were all invited to this wedding. So it lets us know it's a family friend. There is some relationship there. And so they go, and the wedding feast back then, the wedding ceremonies were multiple days. And so here they are. They have gotten into this celebration, and they have run out of wine. And that would have been a disgrace. That would have been a disgrace to that family. It would have been a point of gossip for them. And so Mary's heart was burdened for this problem, and she knew who the solution could be. She knew where to go for solutions for problems, and she knew that it was her son Jesus. Everybody else didn't know that yet, but she knew it because she had birthed him. You know, they had had conversations about this and how and when and what it would look like for him to be about his father's business. You know that they had had these conversations. And so Mary comes to him and says, hey, there's no wine. And Jesus says, what you want me to do about it? And she looks at the servants and she said, whatever he tells you to do, do it. And so there's this faith that she has. She has this faith in Jesus. And then she says, it's so much so that it's like, whatever he tells you to do, do it. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, do what he tells you to do. And so these servants get another detail that is not by chance, these jars that had been set for Jewish purification, an opportunity for cleansing. What was Jesus there to do? To cleanse, to make new, a new covenant, a new way of cleansing. And so the servants, they grab these 6 stone water jars that are made for purification, and they go and fill them up, and it says they're 20 or 30 gallons. Like, that's no joke. That's some effort. That's some work that they have put into it. It was costly. It was something it wasn't an easy task. And so we have Mary's faith, and we have their obedience to what Jesus says. They went and they filled it up to the brim, leaving no room in the jars. And then he says, now draw some out. So they take another step of obedience, and they draw some water out, and they take it to the head waiter. Now, here's the thing. They could be embarrassed by that. They could be humiliated by that. But they did it anyway. They did whatever he said to do in obedience. So they draw the water out. They take it to the head waiter. And this head waiter can't believe what he's tasting. He doesn't know where this has come from. He's surprised, like, what in the world? Where has this come from? He is surprised, but the servants, they got to see the first miracle. They knew where it came from. The least of these. Jesus allowed the least of these to witness the first miracle, to be a part of the first miracle. And so then there's this raving about the fact that most people, they give their best wine at the beginning, and then they pull out the cheap wine at the end when people are a little tipsy. But they're getting all this rave review because they've done it the opposite. They are now bringing out the best wine. And that is just like Jesus, an upside down kingdom. It's giving us insight into God's kingdom, that it is an upside down kingdom. First shall be last. Like, this is what you can expect in his kingdom. And that it is a kingdom of abundance, that it doesn't ever run out. There's always more. And so today, that's the kind of life that we get to live. So here is the picture, the big picture. We have this picture of old wine representing the old covenant, which was based on the law. And then we have this new wine that is better wine, right? And it is representative of the new covenant, which is Jesus, the better way. And this new wine, we hear later on about new wine and how it requires a new wineskin to hold it, which is me and you, which is opening it up to the Gentiles, to not just the Jews. And this new wineskin, this vessel right here that gets to carry this new wine, this better wine, this Jesus inside of me. That he comes in and fills me up, puts me on like a glove, and I get to carry him into the world, and I get to pour him out. I get to pour him out. And then I come back to him and he fills me up to the brim, and I get to pour him out again. And that's how this works. What a picture it is. Nothing's wasted in the kingdom. There's no detail that's not important in this story. The last one that I'll point out today is the fact that here we have this comparison to the old and the new. So let's think about Moses. They call Jesus the better Moses. Moses, his first miracle was water into blood sacrifice, the old covenant, the law. Jesus' first miracle is water into wine. Wine represents this life of grace. Jesus, a new covenant, open for all, that brings us to this point of pleasure, this point of rest, this point of joy, the fruits of the Spirit. So today, let's give thanks to the new wine, the new covenant, to our better Moses, to Jesus, and that we get to be vessels. What a gift. Let's be new wine skins. Let's allow him to renew us from the inside out. Make me an offering. May I be a living sacrifice today. That's what this is about. That is how Jesus breaks into the scene. That is the first miracle that he performs. What a gift. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Cheers, and God bless.